This is WFYI News Now. It's August 12th, and I'm Abriana Herron. On today's show, the federal application for college financial aid is delayed again. Governor Eric Holcomb comments on abbreviated campaigns for major office as Kamala Harris has just 3 months to go. And new progress on a years-long effort to combine the Indiana School for the Deaf and the Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Through our leadership, they'll see they could become an architect. They could become a superintendent. They could become the next governor. There are no limits put on them.
Those stories are coming up, but first, a call for transparency and accountability is growing after recent local news investigations unveiled misconduct within the Hogsett administration. 3 women went public with their stories describing sexual harassment and predatory behavior by Thomas Cook, the mayor's former chief of staff. Republican city-county councilors say they will work to introduce a resolution for an external investigation. Democratic councilor Jesse Brown has called for the mayor's resignation. 2 of the women have released a letter urging stronger abuse prevention policies and an independent reporting system. Hogsett brought Thomas Cook back to help run his 2023 re-election campaign, despite being disciplined for his behavior in the past. High school seniors who hope to attend college next in the fall of 2025 can soon fill out the federal application for college financial aid. But this time, like last year, the form will be slightly delayed for most students. From WFYI's Education Desk, Rachel Fredette has more.
The Federal Department of Education says the FAFSA, or the Free Application for Federal Student Aid, will be launched to a select group of students and institutions on October 1st of this year. They hope limited users can help identify and resolve system errors before it's expanded to the wider student population. The agency said access opens to all students on or before December 1st. FAFSA forms determine how much financial aid students get from federal and state governments and higher education institutions. Students and families across the country struggled to complete the FAFSA last school year due to glitches in the rollout of the new version of the application. I'm Rachel Fredette.
The national FAFSA deadline closes on June 30th, 2025. Vice President Kamala Harris is in the midst of a campaign for president that's just 3 months long after officially becoming the nominee. As Indiana Public Broadcasting's Brandon Smith reports, Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb knows something about running such an abbreviated campaign for a major office.
In 2016, then-Governor Mike Pence became Donald Trump's running mate, vacating his place as the GOP nominee for governor. The Indiana Republican Party State Committee chose then-Lieutenant Governor Eric Holcomb to replace Pence on the ballot just 106 days before the polls closed on Election Day. When President Joe Biden dropped out of the race last month and Harris took the reins, there were just 107 days before Election Day. Holcomb says the Harris campaign needs to be prepared to go without sleep.
So it was really just a high-octane 106-day, 100-day for them campaign to build the aircraft in flight and then to make sure you land it with no fuel left.
Holcomb says Harris must also share a clear plan for the country with supporters. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Brandon Smith at the State House.
And for our final story today, Governor Holcomb and leaders from the Indiana School for the Deaf and the Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired broke ground on a project to join the 2 schools on one campus. The project has been in the works for years, and it will still take years to complete. The new co-location on the campus of the School for the Blind and Visually Impaired won't open to students from both schools until 2028. Holcomb praised the collaboration and cooperation between the schools for getting the project to this point.
To really build something special, something that is world-class, something that is state-of-the-art, something that will, I think it's too much of a stretch to say, become the envy of the nation.
School for the Deaf Superintendent David Gieslin, who is deaf, says he looks forward to leading the new campus with his counterpart at the School for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Gieslin signed and spoke through an interpreter.
Through our leadership, they'll see they could become an architect. They could become a superintendent. They could become the next governor. There are no limits put on them.
The firms designing the new campus are consulting a blind architect and a deaf architect throughout the process. That's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by Drew Dodlin, with support from the news team at WFYI and public media journalists across the state. Our news director is Sarah Neal Estes. Kendall Antron produced our music, and I'm your host, Abriana Herron. If you like today's episode, remember to subscribe and share, and follow WFYI on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube to check in on our newsroom throughout the day. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.